Welcome to my channel. Before everything, I wanted to thank you everyone for all the likes and comments I have received so far from my videos. I appreciate your support. But for this video, this is recap of a crime and thriller genre movie. The movie has been nominated for Outstanding Film directed by a woman from Women's Image Network Awards in 2021. The film has rating 6.3 from IMDb. The name of the movie is Girl in the Basement and release year is 2021. I hope you enjoy it. And as quick reminder, this video contains spoilers. Marie, a teenage girl, is being comforted by a woman in the back seat of a vehicle as she is driven by a guy to the hospital. The man tells the wife, not a word, as he sets down the girl outside the hospital and carries her inside. The next thing we catch is a happy family sitting down to a meal together. Don and Renee are parents to daughters Amy and Sara. Sara is defiant, so she and her lover, who rides a motorbike, slip out of the house to dance by a campfire. Chris is his name, and he's a guitarist too. He serenades Sara with a song about his affection for her. Don is furious with his kid the next morning once Sara returns home, and he yells at her. As long as she is a guest in his home, he claims, she must abide by his standards. As Sara approaches her 18th birthday, she, Amy and Renee begin making preparations for her independence. Don hears what is being said and immediately begins preparing his underground bunker in case a nuclear attack should occur. So that she can't leave him, he plots to keep his kid captive. Don enlists Sara's aid in the downstairs while Renee goes shopping. Then he shuts the door and puts up insulation to keep the noise out. The bomb bunker she is in is completely sealed off from the outside world. The trash can is overflowing with garments. We are given a timer that keeps track of the days. This is only the first of many, many more days. Sara has been confined to her home and treated like a pet. There are 3 chances to enter the correct code on the keypad before the air conditioning is turned off. Sara pees in pots and utilizes each spare moment to yell for help or try to break free. Don informs her that she is being penalized for her actions and that she must earn her rights. Then he goes and rapes his own kid. Renee phones the authorities because she fears her daughter has disappeared. Once Don and Renee go to the police, they believe Sara is a wanderer but can't do much about it because she's already 18. Sara had been assaulted and injured for 7 days. Chris is the person she believes of to help her get through this terrible ordeal. Stranger still, Chris walks up to interrogate Don about Sara's whereabouts. Don makes up a story that she left with a man named Stevie, although this is obviously not true. On the 21st day, Don dresses Sara in a bright red dress, presents her with a birthday cake, and inquires as to what she desires. He rejects her request for release, saying that it is premature. Then she begs him for a television, but he tells her she must first prove herself. Afterwards, she starts demanding a timepiece. In agreement, he motions for her to get nearer. Very likely, she'll be raped once more. On day 38, she is ready for him when he comes down again, and she uses a household item as a weapon to assault him. Nonetheless, he sidesteps the assault and continues to beat and presumably rape her. Moving forward in time from day 39 to day 354, we find that Sara is carrying her father's child/sister. She gives birth without the benefit of modern medicine or even basic cleanliness. She's getting ready for the baby by reading a breastfeeding manual. Marie is the baby's middle name. After those 4 years, Sara is now a mother and expecting her second child. They are trapped in the basement with each other and have no way out. Sara seems to have gotten over her anxiety and is now talking to and providing tea to Don when he comes to visit. Don reports that he has been promoted and will be moving to a new office. He has also furnished her apartment with essentials like a bed, couch, and table. Sara wonders whether he could free them, and he snaps at her. But by Christmas, he's given them a television. A son, Michael, is born to Sara in year 7, and the whole family continues to reside in the cellar. Don offers some medications to help his ailing daughter Marie, but Sara objects, saying that she doesn't know how much of them to give. Chris continues to hunt for Sara, and in his search he tells Amy the false information he received from Don that Sara ran away with Stevie. Amy believes that Don may have done something to her sister and acknowledges that her dad has been harsh to her mom. After that, she approaches Don with her accusations. Renee's plan to hire a private eye has Don fuming. Don loses his basement keys during the argument. Amy takes them and investigates the basement, only to be confronted by a feisty Don. Sara gives birth to her third child, a son named Thomas, and talks Don into leaving the infant on the doorway with a letter requesting him to care for the child. Renee must discover the baby on her own when Don abandons it. A tiny message, written by Sara, asks her mother to contact the authorities since she is in danger down there. 14 years. The kids, Marie and Michael, are developing into young adults. Due to spending their whole lifetimes in isolation in a bunker, they suffer from severe social anxiety. They have no idea how terrible their predicament actually is. 17 years. In the dungeon, they find a leak in the ceiling and use a spoon to begin excavating their way out. But, Renee is spending quality time with her grandson Thomas. Sara is once again expecting a baby and spends her nights digging. She signals a neighbor by flashing a light and crawling through the hole to the front yard. Don's daughter miscarries after he hits her, and he finds out when the neighbor comes to the door and informs him. Don tells Sara that she has another son named Thomas who lives just above them, and that she has been held captive for the past 18 years. Via Thomas, he manipulates Marie and Michael to rebel against their mother. Sara can't handle it any longer as they clamor to be released. She has a nervous breakdown and screams into the floor while weeping. Her thoughts turn to her lover Christopher and the affection he had shown her. Sara finally breaks the news to her kids about Don. It's understandable that the youngsters feel scared. Due to her asthma, Marie has a hard time breathing in the basement. After 19 years, Don finally confronts Sara about their disagreement about food rationing in the basement. Michael becomes violent and attempts to assault Don. This will simply make him more irate. Don isn't faring any better above ground either. They argue all the time, he has been laid off, and his property is in foreclosure. He's sick of looking after Sara and the kids, so he keeps the car running and routes the exhaust gas into the basement's air vents while they sleep. Thomas discovers his grandfather, Don, in the garage and is perplexed as to what he is doing there. The original plan to kill them is abandoned as Don experiences a change of heart. Once he assures us that they are safe and soundly asleep, he heads down to the basement to check on them. In 20 years, Marie still struggles to take a deep breath and experiences an asthma episode so severe that she requires medical treatment. Sara implores Don, whom she refers to as Dad, to drive them to the hospital. They are rushed by him to the emergency room. The opening scene from the movie is repeated. Marie's doctors are doing everything they can to rescue her. Elisabeth Röhm's character, the worried doctor, is curious in Marie's health history. Sara requests a trip to the restroom, but Don won't let her leave. Don's paperwork becomes soaked, and she runs out to find some help while he fills out a new one. Sara is very honest with the doctor. Don gets arrested and sentenced to life in prison. Renee is shocked when she learns that her spouse was responsible for her daughter's abuse at home. Everyone packs up and moves in together. Motorcycle Chris appears and takes Sara on a picnic. They discuss what they hope to do with their lives in the future, and Chris says he's sorry he didn't make more of an effort to locate Sara when they were both teenagers. After that, they hop in a car and head out for an adventure. With a tip of the hat to Lifetime Uncorked. That was recap of Girl in the Basement. Thank you so much for watching the video and I hope you enjoyed it. Please don't forget to hit like and subscribe. Also, feel free to comment about this recap.